Hey, how's it going, guys? Last week on March 2nd, I had an interview and a conversation with Aleph of Vessels of Their Cult. I wanted to post the conversation that we had onto YouTube. I'm sort of chopped it up a little bit, so we're going to speed through the actual songs themselves, so it's just the conversation that's left over. But if you want to hear the music yourself before going into this, you can definitely check out Vessels of Their Cult, their new album Trebuchet, at their Bandcamp, linked down below. I highly recommend it. Huge shout out to Aleph and Llama for the work that they put on this album. It's a really, really incredible work of experimental music that finds beauty in the little minuscule cracks that everybody else seems to ignore. So I think this is a really, really great piece of work from Vessels of Their Cult. Highly recommend it. And if you do check it out and want to learn more about the music, then I hope you listen to this interview. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Okay. As an introvert, I just want to say I really appreciate this song because it perfectly captures the vibe of finding like a quiet corner in a party where you can just sort of like sit and appreciate the view and the music playing for a little bit and like recharge a bit, and just like not have to be social. It just has that like
Yeah,
that really, and it's just such a great feeling that it this perfectly emulated for me. Yeah, I like that a lot.
I'm so happy that translated. I listened back to that and it shocks me how well that vibe translates because I actually did just sit. I was at a friend's giving. I believe this was back towards the end of 2020, end of 2023 or end of 2024. So this one's been
Hmm.
this one sat in my vaults for a while, and I was sitting there and I had a ukulele and I was like, I'll record something real quick. And it's funny listening back to this because it's like I'm picking out voices of people that I know or like people I don't talk to as much anymore. And it just drops me right back into that room.
Hmm.
And I some sort of magic in the way that I recorded it such that the vocals came through,
Yeah.
or I guess like all of the background audio came in and out of focus in a way
Hmm.
that wasn't super legible, but it's like you could tell there was so much meaning kind of
Right.
being uh, moved between the people, I guess.
Hmm. Definitely. I think yeah, because you heard like the speech at one point, but everything else kind of blended in and out. It's the same reason that when I was in college, I used to go to like McDonald's to study because there would be just enough talking in the background that it became like really nice white noise for me. Like you can't like pick
Yeah,
out one string of conversation, so your brain just sort of shuts it all out. Yeah, yeah, it was a great field recording there.
yeah. My favorite little detail there is the shuffles of the deck of cards are almost in time with what I'm doing,
Ah, and that's
and
probably like
that was not,
subconsciously
that was not
intentional on the shuffling person's part, though.
maybe I don't know if it was
Hmm.
or not, but it's I listen back to it. I'm like, wait, those card shuffles are so perfectly placed in like little pauses, and it's just
What a Pixar moment! Like everything is going in with
really
the
for
music.
real.
Yeah, they're about to start singing about Bruno or something.
Yeah, it's so much of it is just the magic to me of the way that music,
Hmm.
when we let it interact with the world around
Yeah.
us, is going to give so much more back than like these sort of isolated, very
Right.
sterile environments in which we typically create music. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the stuff created from these sterile environments,
Hmm.
but I even think about with Black Midi's John L. The big rumbling noise in the middle of one of the instrumental breaks
Hmm.
is when they had a helicopter that was flying overhead while they were recording, and they were like, "Leave that in, leave that in."
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. No, I think this is another place where we're pretty in sync on because, like, I I've got like a whole bunch of old radios around my house that I play music at like through an FM transmitter. It sounds like freaking like a bag of rice sometimes, but it's still like I believe every time that you listen to a song, that's a unique instance of that song. Like
Oh yeah.
every crackle that you hear, every pop, if you're listening to it on a vinyl player or something like that, it's like this is a unique instance, and that's like adding to the ambiance and the listening experience. So yeah, I think it's crucial, and everybody just wants to get into like an airtight vacuum so they can listen to their $8 million sound system without any distortion.
Every copy of Trebuchet is
Yes,
personalized.
it's not a bug, it's a
Lana,
feature.
when we make the CD version, can you add little corruptions into each little CD, please?
It's easy. You just get like a pair, like a set of car keys, and sort of scrub it on the CDs afterward. Yeah, here's your
Yep.
personalized copy.
There you
uh,
go. It's meant to be heard like that.
yeah, yeah, exactly. That's great. Oh, good stuff.
Yes,
That's a
but
it's a great little interlude. And I'd like one last thing on that, and just like for all the stuff that I've heard from you, I think one place where you excel in art is knowing when to hit record and when to sort of really examine these little parts of our lives that other people would discard as trash or not even think about in the first place. So I really love your perspective on this stuff, and putting these sort of seemingly random clips together into like a pretty coherent and like album feeling flow. It's just that's a skill in itself.
I appreciate that. The place that that comes from is quite funny, and I think it's worth noting. I have this sort of eternal fear of losing memories,
Mm-hmm.
and this is kind of evident in the way that I kind of go about my day-to-day life. Like, I have a hard time going back and like getting rid of old emails, or like I have a hard
Right.
time with old text conversations. I'm like, I don't want to ever
Mm-hmm.
delete them.
Yeah, I know. We
Or
talked about
like,
all this yesterday. No, I'm just kidding.
don't do this to me. and and I think part of that just comes with my desire to just kind of continue to observe every single beautiful moment in life
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
try and capture it in some way or another,
Mm-hmm.
and it does lead to problems where I start over kind of like sometimes I get in my head about it, but then it's like sometimes it just leads to stuff like that where it's like I've gotten together with that group of people so many times, but
Mm-hmm.
like that's the one that I have a record of, and I have like something captured
Right. Yeah,
from.
yeah.
And do I remember most of what was discussed that night? Absolutely not. But I have some sort of a form of a memory,
Mm-hmm.
and I captured something that I was feeling. And
Right.
there's something that's more eternal about that than like any of the memories that I have of that night. And
Right.
I think that there's something beautiful about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I totally resonate with like wanting to remember and having some other way of tracking this stuff. That's a big reason why I started this whole 2025 project with all these albums, and like it's giving me an excuse to listen to all this music and sort of notate it. And because of that, like yeah, I feel like I'm listening to around the same amount of music that I usually do, but I'm actually like remembering all of this stuff, like not all of the stuff, but a lot more of it than I normally would. Usually I would just remember like maybe one or two songs from like five albums, but now I'm able to like go back and say, oh yeah, this album was good because of XYZ. So just like
Yeah.
having more avenues to solidify that memory is it's been working well for me.
Oh yeah. Stuff like this gives me a lot more respect for historians and stuff
Yes,
who
absolutely.
like are going through and finding these sort of little pieces of things and trying to piece together, okay, what actually happened.
Hmm. Right, right.
It's so mind-boggling to me.
And like you have to be passionate about it because nobody else cares, and it's like you gotta just that has to be your entire life.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But on to the next one.
Yep.
Since we've kind of hit a break,
Mm-hmm. Yep, on to
this is
Riverside.
Riverside.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's one of my favorites. That's one of my favorite things I've recorded.
It's absolutely nailed it. It's what I feel like. Sounding to heaven or getting to heaven sounds like,
Mm,
including the like terminal stuff, because there's gonna be a lot of people walking around and stuff, right? Like you can feel like the intercom voices feel like to get to purgatory, take the next left or something. uh Beautiful.
7 circle train leaving now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
No.
this one was actually recorded when I was working a gig at the local art gallery that we have in
Hmm.
Lynchburg. I've gotten to go over there and they hire me, hey, play 3 hours of music. We don't care what you do, play 3 hours of music,
Hmm.
and that's the gig. And it was a wonderful time because the thing about playing music for 3 hours is you get bored very fast, especially if you're not working from like a set list and I'm doing like a bunch of
Right.
improvised stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I had my pedal board, I was messing around, and this was a wonderful this was the moment when I was just kind of like, okay, I don't know what to do. Let me try doing something that I have not done, period. And so what I did was I built out the first layer of loops was just a bunch of
Hmm.
fuzz kind of at the bottom layer. And the way that I got that is just like a bunch of reverb through like I think I ran my reverb through my fuzz pedal and then I just like played a lot of notes over top of each other and that just led like a across the bottom.
Hmm.
And then I threw on those little like sonar sounds up top and the people added to it and it was just a wonderful little kind of moment and I was like, oh, this is so cool, let me record some of it, and I'm so happy I did.
Heck yeah. Yeah. I think the amount of time, like the 3 hour part and like sort of getting bored is very significant. That reminds me of The National when they did 6 Hours of Sorrow. Just performed the same song over and over again on stage at like the Museum of Modern Art or something.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, like after a couple of hours, because like you can sort of skip around and just hear like the different iterations of the song, and it like changes and evolves so much over time with the small changes. And like I can't remember the name of the lead singer. He's like completely wrecked by the end of it, like has no voice left. And so it's like, how does such a long live performance impact the art that you're trying to make, as opposed to just like springing out of bed and making a song real quick, so yes, super cool.
Yeah, I have a good friend who's an excellent blues guitarist, and he said something to me a while ago that really struck a chord with me. And he said, "A blues jam only gets interesting after the first 5 minutes." And his reasoning for that was that when you've gotten past the first 5 minutes, you have used up all of your
Right.
kind of muscle memory. You have used
Hmm.
up all of your typical licks and like all of the
Right.
different things that
Uh-huh.
characterize the way that you would approach the genre. Whereas like if you're just sitting down and recording like an
Hmm.
8 bar solo, you can fall back on whatever you've done because it's
Right.
all somewhat
Yeah,
fresh to
yeah.
you because usually. But you in a blues jam and you're past the 5 minute mark, it's like
Hmm.
shoot, I don't know what to play.
Yeah, it's like a game of chess, all the opening moves are booked out. You know exactly what's going to happen, at least like the 3 through 5 first moves. But then at a certain point, like no one's played this specific game of chess before. No one's had this
Yeah,
exact blues jam or been this far into a live experimental performance before. So yeah, you start having to come up with some truly new stuff.
and it gives me a lot more respect for bands like the Grateful Dead, who were just doing stuff like that night after night after night
Right,
after
right,
night
absolutely.
for
Yeah.
literal decades.
Hmm.
Like, and the fact that they had a development and they continued to evolve and they continued to be interesting is
Hmm.
just mind-boggling
Yeah.
to me because like how do you play with the same, and granted they did have a rotating cast
Hmm.
of members,
Hmm.
but like how did Jerry Garcia and Bob Weir play together for as long as they did and never get bored of playing with each other?
Right, right. I have not heard of the Depeche Mode one of the Enjoy the Silence. I'll have to check that out. I love
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like that.
that sounds like a fun time.
Ugh. Switching instruments off a division bill. Ah,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I can definitely see that one, Llama, because it definitely I definitely felt a little David Gilmour in the way that I was kind of putting these things together. Um I saw a picture. It was like some 4chan meme. It was just a picture of David Gilmour and it was a guitar tab of 10 bend 12. And I was just losing it because it's like he's just the guitar bends, that's just all he does. It's so funny.
yeah. Uh, I'll admit that one went a bit over my head, but I'm gonna assume it was hilarious.
It was quite funny. The
Yeah.
guitarists among you will enjoy that one.
Okay. Uh, all right. Excellent. Well, I'm very, very eager to check out this next one because, yeah, it's sort of two of these tracks jumped out a bit in the track list based off of their length,
Yep.
and this is the first one. Song title and song length are significantly longer than average here. So, just going into ahead of this one, anything that you want to say leading up to it?
Um, the original recording was 16 minutes.
This is the
Uh,
abridged.
this is significantly cut, and we'll talk more about that later. But the original version was like 16 minutes long.
Oh, that was gorgeous. Um, I just right off the bat, I'll say that song was the one so far that closest reminded me of the cover of the album. It had that like large scale mysteriousness to it, very like dreamlike and surreal. So I think the two go together perfectly. But yeah, just incredible.
I would agree. I think that when I sent this, when I was working with the artist, I think I sent him this one specifically. I was like, hey, listen to this one in particular to
Mm-hmm.
get an idea. And
Yes.
then I also sent him a bunch of MC Escher reference stuff
Mm-hmm.
because he had somehow never heard of MC Escher. And then he cooked this up after like me sending him like
Killed it.
five reference images.
Killed it. Uh, it's
Dude, it's
incredible.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy artist.
Mm-hmm.
I unfortunately don't have his name. I only have his Discord handle. I've been trying to get a hold of him so I could like properly credit him and stuff because
Yeah, yeah.
like
Yeah, man. To be an artist like that and yeah, keep your talents hidden like that should be a crime. No, not really, but
no, it should, and
uh
it's like it's like I gotta get back in touch with him, but it sounds like he's just like
mhm.
a really busy guy,
Right,
like
right.
doing art stuff,
Yeah.
very very skilled. And I'm like, no, I want the world needs to know that you did this like incredible album artwork and you hit the vibe exactly what I
Mhm.
needed it to be. And it's a shame that it's like, yeah, no, like I can't like I want to credit you so bad, but you're just not getting
Mhm.
back to me. So
Yeah, it is a shame. Um but I mean, either way, absolutely gorgeous song. Yeah, just beautiful, really. Very like swirling and the movements in there were very organic, how it like shifted from piano to guitar driven with like other elements. It sounded like sort of radioheady in a bit with the like a detuned radio or something going off in the background. But yeah, yeah, great track.
you wanna know something crazy?
Yes.
Outside of the underlying like kind of staticky textures, all of that was on my keyboard run through a pedal board.
Wow. Yeah, you were showing me the potential of pedal boards, man. I had no idea that they could do all this stuff.
Dude, it is crazy how much mileage you can get out of just like a bunch of circuitry.
Hmm.
You just run the signal through it and you just turn enough knobs and you get something interesting. And it's it's kind of the process of it's not necessarily like the option was always there. It's just kind of like
Right.
knowing where the path is, I guess.
Hmm.
That's the fun part.
Finding like it's like a Mandelbrot set, finding just that
Yeah.
perfect part of it where all the crazy stuff happens, because otherwise you're just looking at a sort of a boring line.
Oh yeah, it's knowing just just where you can kind of zone into before it explodes out into infinity or before it compresses down into a dot.
Exactly. Yes. Uh,
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Shout outs to the YouTuber It's Boundo. She's got a wonderful music YouTube channel. I definitely check her stuff out, but
Mm-hmm.
she put together some of the textures that went on the underlying part of that.
Cool. Cool.
So all the tonal stuff is me, like all the like the that kind of like wavy sort of like almost ship
Mm-hmm.
rocking back and forth thing going on underneath it. That was my pedal board run through like a really wet reverb kind of thing and then
Mm-hmm.
looping. But then like all the staticky stuff, she put those textures together and then Llama put it on there and I was just like, oh, this adds so much to it.
That's awesome. Yeah, actually, I've heard of It's Boundo. I think I used her like as one of my like meta rankings. I have like her list on there, included from year end. So,
Oh yeah, she's an excellent commenter when it comes to talking about music. I
mm-hmm.
love the way that she breaks things down. Her particularly her "Let's Get You Into Ween" video
Yes,
is just
I don't think I've
it
watched
is
that, but I've
so,
seen it recommended a bunch of times.
you should watch it. It is quite good. I watched it as someone who was already into the
Yes.
band, and she does the band quite a bit of justice. Although I will say, I do think she has a little too high of an opinion of White Pepper.
Okay.
But I think
Nobody's
everybody's that's the
perfect.
beautiful thing about weed is nobody can agree what their
Yeah,
best
yeah.
album is. Everybody's like, yeah, they don't have any bad albums.
Well, no, nobody can agree with the second best album because everybody agrees that their best album is Chocolate and Cheese. So, yeah, it's
See, that's crazy because everybody agrees that the best album is The Mollusk.
uh, we'll have to agree to disagree. Um,
Yeah,
uh,
real ones say The Pod is the best album.
I mean,
That's the real
I
thing.
guess, yeah, I guess we'll never get to a agreement
Well,
there.
no,
Just a great band.
cue Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh, all right, excellent. So, let's keep moving on to loop number one then.
Yeah, this one's a nice little short one, but I like this one quite a bit.
Excellent. All right, let's check it out. When you put out the inevitable Trebuchet Deluxe edition, feel free to make this one just like a 5 hour long loop.
Oh man, that we might have to do that because I that was something I sat down and I recorded because I was talking with somebody local who was trying to get into like making more music and singing more and rapping more and stuff. And she was like, "Hey, can you send me something and we'll try and make something?" And I sent this to her, and we never did end up really doing anything with it. But like I enjoyed the kind of general vibe of it so much because I just sat down and I recorded all of the parts into my looper and just kind
Mm-hmm.
of let it run. And
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
this was one of the ones where I was figuring out where best to put my phone to get like the best sound quality for it. And there's something just so nice about it. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just a nice little
It's
space.
it's very slice of life esque. Like I feel like I'm sitting on some sort of like patio or cafe with like the windscreen shattering in the background and like just sort of people watching for a bit. You know, very
Yeah.
very slow and calm. Love that in my music.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the comment if it sounds like a modern day loading stream.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, for Breath
It
of the
does have
Wild.
loading screen vibes, and I love that. Like
Mm-hmm.
if I every time I waited in an elevator, this just started playing in my head, I
Yes.
don't think I'd complain.
Dude, bring back elevator music.
That's
100%.
what I'm
Yes.
saying.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be just like shitty disco from the 70s. It could be like just take a nice breath. Take a break, you know?
Yeah, like just like I'm sure that there's a bunch of really talented like indie game dev composers who
Mhm.
would just be eaching at the opportunity to make something for an elevator, you know? Like
100%. Yes. You could even like put like the loading bar on the elevator so it's like you're loading the next level like as you're going up.
oh my gosh, I love it. That'd be so awesome.
uh, anyways, yes, this is the year of elevator music for sure.
We're bringing it back. If I ever get a building that has an elevator in it, I will have you know that I will put elevator music in it.
Yes.
It's a
Oh,
pipe dream, but if it somehow comes to pass,
that'd be
that will be
amazing. Yeah.
happening.
And just like put your little business card in there. Be like, do you want elevator music for your elevator? Give me a call. The business writes itself. Come
It'd be a
on, you'll
whole
be a
racket,
millionaire.
man.
Overnight sensation.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This upcoming one. This is my favorite track on the album. A lot of people have "The Sun Will Overcome" as their favorite.
Mm-hmm.
This is mine. And I'll go into why at the end, but this one is I love this one quite a bit.
I love it already because it's one composition titled two compositions. So it's kind of got your tongue in cheek way of doing it, where it's like, I understand that like it's probably two compositions that were put together, but I'm also curious, were they overlaid or is it just one plays and then the other? Like, how are they mixed up? Is it actually not
You'll
two
have to wait and
compositions?
see.
Exactly. Yeah. It already gets the mind racing. All right. Without
Yes.
further ado, let's check it out. You know what this is? This
What
is
is it?
this is what they would get if anybody was crazy enough to book you as the person to sing the national anthem before a baseball game.
They're just dragging me off the
Yeah, yeah,
field.
yeah, exactly. Oh man, really good. That was yeah. Oh, it's funny. This was the second time that I reached for the volume knob listening to this because I just wanted to listen to it as loud as possible and get as much detail. Because with all this music, none of it is planned, but everything is intentional, right? So every little like additional bit that you can get in the background or like a sound that sort of you can hear before it really comes in and watch as it grows. It's a really really cool experience.
Thank you. Yeah, no, this was the moment that I knew that I wanted to push this record a little bit harder when I put it out.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because initially it was just like, okay, yeah, we're just gonna throw together a bunch of cool little experiments, bada bing, bada boom, and then Llama sent me this back, and I'm trying to remember exactly what she said, but it was something to the effect of, "I think I've ascended," um, and I think she was like, "I think I've ascended. My ears are ringing, and I've been working on this for the past 5 hours, and I think that I've made the this is the best thing I've ever made, or something like that." And she sent it to me, and I remember when I think it's around like the 7 minute mark or so, like maybe somewhere like 6 or 7 minute mark, where the second recording really comes in, and it's just blown out of proportion in comparison to the
Hmm.
first
Yes.
recording.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I just remember I was speechless. Like it was,
Hmm.
and this truly goes to show how much how much this is additionally her project as it is mine, where it's like I just sent
Right.
her the recording and she was like, I can make something out of this. I can cook something with this.
Hmm.
And because I remember recording the main one, the first one that you hear,
Yeah.
I remember recording that. I don't remember recording the other one. I don't remember if I'd have to dig through my phone and figure out which one it was, and then I'd go
That's
back and I'd
so
listen to it probably,
cool.
and I'd be like, ah, this is interesting. But I
Wow.
have no recollection of when that was recorded, other than I was probably just screwing around on my pedal board one day, and I was like, oh, let me just throw something into the
Yeah. Yeah.
recording,
Yeah.
and we'll see what happens.
So cool. That it's like incredible how well they work together. And yeah, I was sort of thinking the same thoughts towards the end of this song. It's like this really truly feels like you both were on the exact same page. You had the same vision for what this music should sound like. And I absolutely understand what you mean now when you say like life was breathed into this music that you didn't even hear going into it. So Yeah, love it. This absolutely hats off to you. This is incredible production on here. It's just beautiful.
When I tell you that she is the best sound designer I know personally, I do not say that lightly. It is you listen to her work with Vivian and the Surrogates. That's her little project that she
Hmm.
does off to the side. Listen to Last Door. And I adore the way that that record sounds. It is just such a treat to listen to front to back. It's all industrial. There's a lot of atonal stuff. There's a
Hmm.
lot of just kind of like all sorts of stuff where it's nothing that I would ever feel compelled to personally write, but like that's why she's the sound designer and I'm
Right.
not, right? Like
Yeah.
her skills as a sound designer lets her get away with a lot of things that I
Hmm.
could never get away with.
Hmm.
And this is just kind of a microcosm of what she does well, and I enjoy the way that our styles work together because for me, I've always found it very interesting to work with weird sounds and kind of throw things together and like really, really full
Hmm.
sounding things. And so I send her things that I throw together with a looper and a few pedals, and it's just like a bunch of feedback and all sorts of stuff. And I'm like, hey, can you make something of this? And she's like, oh yeah. And then she just like sits down and she makes something like this, and it just boggles my brain.
Right, right. Yeah, no, and I think especially with this type of music from the production side, you need to be so comfortable where like the rest of the industry is sort of outside looking in with the music. You need to be outside looking out, looking at the stuff that pretty much anybody else would discard or throw away or not be interested in. It's all you're interested in. So, finding the beauty in that, it's challenging and just based off of the results here, super rewarding. Because yeah, that
Oh
was
yeah.
fantastic.
And even on a technical level, the ability to work with noise and to be comfortable working with noise as a composition element is not something that I think most people are
Hmm.
who do production because it is the amount of shrillness and the amount of harshness that is happening in what I sent to her is so absurdly it's a definitely a challenge to make it
Hmm.
to kind of wrangle it into something
Right.
that preserves the chaos of it while still being coherent.
Hmm.
And it's I don't feel like I would be comfortable trying to throw things together like this in a DAW. Like
Right.
I just sit there and I make the sounds and I hope other people can make it sound good.
Right.
And it's just like
Yeah.
how do you do that, you know?
I think it's so important that the second composition of this track was sort of not picked, or even you weren't even aware of it. There's like, in any other sense, if you tried to record this song, you would know, okay, now I'm getting into the conclusion part. Like, this is how the song started, and here's how it ended, and here's how it's all like thematically similar. So you lose a lot of freedom when you know exactly what the two pieces are. So having these two be completely independent, to my ears, they flow together perfectly. But I think it brought a lot of like unexpected creativity just because you didn't have that constraint when you were recording it. So it's so cool.
Oh yeah, definitely. Thank you. I love the way that I love the way that music emerges from things that we don't expect. And
Hmm.
that's probably my favorite part about music is the sort of ephemeral emergent nature of it, where you never know, like you can sit down and you can try to write a song and with a lot of things it's like you can follow a process, right? Like with like say for instance if you are doing math and you are trying to or you're doing engineering, you
Hmm.
follow a process of getting to the answer and there's some creativity in how you design your bridge or whatever architecture whatever, but you follow a process to make sure that it's safe.
Hmm.
Songwriting is an alchemy in such that even if I follow the songwriting the same exact way, there is no way that I can guarantee that there's going to be a good song on the other side.
Right. Yes.
Absolutely no way. And so I love leaning into that where it's like you can sit with all of
Hmm.
these different ideas and you can just throw them out there and we're just gonna kind of do different things and try different
Right.
things. And so a lot of stuff gets discarded, right? A lot of
Uh,
stuff is just not good.
yes.
But when you strike on two ideas that are individually interesting and you're just like, okay, like what if they go together? And then they work together, the emergent properties of how they interact with each other is just so beautiful.
Absolutely. It also, I think, it reminds me of that book slash movie about the alternate universe where the Beatles never existed, but certain
Mm,
people could remember them anyways. And like I honestly, full disclosure, I haven't read or watched it, but I've like read synopsises of both. And the from what I understand, the book is the guy that remembers the Beatles writes all of their songs, but then is also not successful. And the whole
yeah,
point is that like you can write the best music in the world, but there are so many other elements that combine with it that you could still just not be successful. It's a
yeah.
you can't let that be a guard or a guide of what gets you from point A to point B. It's just looking at the other successful stuff because there's a lot of great stuff that wasn't successful through no fault of the artist.
Yeah, and
Yes,
and
baby. Thank
it's and
you.
it's so
Yes.
strange. It's so strange to look at the Beatles as a band, and this is a band that I will never shut up about. Anybody who knows me personally knows that I will talk your ear off about how I think that they are the greatest band of all time, and it's not remotely close. But the Beatles could only have happened exactly when they happened.
Right. Right.
You drop
Exactly.
you drop those same songwriters in
It
the
was a
modern
perfect
day.
storm. Yeah.
Yeah, like you had them at the development of the boy band craze,
Mm-hmm.
which would go on to be turned into a science that it was in the '90s and 2000s. But they were like the start of the boy band craze. You had four guys who were all excellent at their craft. You
Mm-hmm.
had a producer that was both
Mm-hmm.
one of the most forward-thinking producers, but also one of the most schooled. And then to top it all off, you had it kind of at this sort of time where the culture was shifting so much. And so as a
Right.
result,
Right.
you get some of the greatest songs ever written over the period of 8 years. And that can never be replicated. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that too many bands make the mistake of trying to be their heroes, of trying to be the Beatles.
Mm-hmm.
The closest we ever got to the Beatles too was Ween, and they didn't get anywhere remotely close to the level of influence that the Beatles did. Although I will argue they have a lot of more influence than most people realize.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's the closest we ever got
Yes.
to the Beatles too. And Gene and Dean Ween are darn good songwriters. They're incredible songwriters, but they are the closest we ever got. And so when I sit down and I'm like, I want to make music, I am not trying to be Paul McCartney too, because
Mm-hmm.
there is no space within society for another Paul McCartney.
Right.
All I can do is just kind of like, you know what, we're gonna see what happens, and I'll make my art
Right.
and do my thing, and
Yes.
if people like it, they like it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it was a right place at the right time with the Beatles. In many ways, I think of them like Shakespeare, right? Like Shakespeare wrote all of the plot lines. You can't write a new plot line because Shakespeare took them all. You can't write a new pop sensation because the Beatles took all of those like standard melodies and time signatures and like they were the Beatles. You can't be the Beatles again, but you can
Yeah,
try to emulate what they were sort of reaching for while not writing a whole new script altogether.
yeah,
They understood like pop sensibilities that can still be picked up on and used even if you're not writing like a facsimile melody or lyrics or anything like that.
yeah. And it's an interesting thing to see where you can go as an industry and as a art form after somebody wrote
Mm,
every song.
right.
And my friend Lewis, he said something to me. He said that the Beatles wrote every song. Now, I feel like Kraftwerk is an important band because they wrote everything that the Beatles didn't. And they kind of and bands like Kraftwerk and bands like Residence
Mm-hmm.
and Sonic Youth to some extent,
Sure.
they exist in kind of the negative space. I know you've talked about like the daytime of pop music and the
Yes.
nighttime of experimental.
Yes. Yes.
Um, and I genuinely do feel like with if you look at bands like Kraftwerk and bands like the Beatles, you kind of have that sort of like everything they teach you in Harvard Law School versus everything they don't teach you in Harvard Law School.
Mm-hmm.
The sum of all humanity is kind of contained within those two bands.
Right.
And we're all just kind of like sort of jockeying for middle ground in weird ways. And that's
Right.
all that the last 50 years has been.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think of it all as a big tree. The Beatles are the trunk of the tree, and then everything grew out from it. You have like
Yeah.
the Summer of Love that became indie way off down in the branches, became emo, became rap, became like jazz existed before, and you got blues. So there's like a sort of a dense forest, but when you're
Yeah.
looking at like pop rock music, the Beatles are just so close to the core that it's how is your inspiration drawn from them, not like how are you copying them.
Yes, it is. Everybody is influenced by the Beatles in some way or
Right.
another, and if you're not, you are doing yourself a disservice by denying their importance.
Mm-hmm. If you're not, I really want to hear the music that you make because does that mean that you've just never heard the Beatles before? Like, it must be like wild music.
Inevitably,
Talk about
it's like
outsider.
no, for real. It's like Jandek's the only one that I can think of off the top of my head that's like not influenced by the Beatles at all.
Ugh. All right, so I think we got one more track left. A short
Yep,
and sweet reprise. Is it reprise or reprise? I
yeah.
never really know.
Reprise, I
Reprise.
believe.
Okay.
I've heard both.
Yeah.
I'm not the type to correct somebody on that one because it's so up in the air.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, on to reprise.
Yeah, it
All right.
happens.
Yep. We are back with the stunning photo of Aleph to wrap us up because I can't reset
Yeah,
the video. But
I don't know.
anyways, I think we were pretty close to a good wrapping up point. Anyways, um, yeah, yeah, that was a gorgeous closer. Nice little deep breath to end it on.
Yeah, that one was cut from the same recording from the Sun Will Overcome actually. So that was like the last within like the last like 5 minutes of that recording
Mhm.
was that kind of minute block.
That's another one that I could use like a 10-hour loop on YouTube or something.
I love the way that running a piano through a delay pedal sounds. It's
Hmm.
just like because you can get so many more notes so much more
Right,
quickly on a piano than on a fretted instrument. It's just so much easier to just like crank out a bunch of notes, and so it gives this sort of waterfall feeling
right,
that
right.
I absolutely love.
Yeah, yeah. I love the emphasis on the effects and like pedals and all of that. You know, when you get rid of your like a need for a melody or rhythm or something like that, you're able to explore so much more with just how these notes can sound.
I'm quite happy you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. It's funny. I didn't really know that I was making an album until like I don't think anything on this was recorded with the mentality of it going onto an album.
Hmm.
So I didn't know I was making an album until after everything was recorded.
Right,
And
of
so
course.
it's like when I talk about, oh, I had so much fun making it, it's true, but
Hmm.
I don't think there was ever a point where I realized I was making an album. I was just like,
Right.
I had fun making music and I just happened to record it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not that you had fun making it, it's just you recorded when you were having fun.
Yeah, exactly. And there's again, like I love the ephemeral kind of like
Hmm.
the spontaneous
Right.
moment of music.
Exactly.
And I adore the way that music feels when it is just merely lived in,
Hmm.
and I enjoy trying to capture that. And while I do, you will get some more thoroughly composed stuff and like some thoroughly written stuff from me very soon. This was a nice little send off to this kind of like this sort of more ephemeral way of recording things
Hmm.
that I was kind of working with
Gotcha.
for up to this point, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. That does sort of lead me to one of my last questions here. What's coming up next with Vessels of Their Cult?
Um, this is I am sorry to say, but fonts are dead. This is the last
No,
font project.
that's so
Um,
sad. I was gonna ask if you were gonna like start by picking a font next time.
um, there's there is one potential chance that the fonts are not dead. I have to decide if I really want to take the effort to record all of it because like I have a handful of songs that I don't necessarily think that I'd want to put
Hmm.
on a studio recorded record, but they are still like very good songs in my opinion. So like, and that one would be Calibri if that one came out.
Ooh, nice.
But like again, like I want to get to a point where I can sit and record them.
Hmm.
But I've had the frustrating thing of my vocals kind of changing. So a lot of these things are written above my current range.
Uh,
And And so it's like for me to sit down and record them, I would need to like really, really spend a lot of time really warming up and then spend a lot of time like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just prepping my voice to the point where I can get to it. And I don't even know that if I can like deliver a compelling performance of them
Right.
anymore, which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but but if I do that, that'd be like a short like 7 or 8 song project.
Mm-hmm.
With just a handful of things that I've written recently because believe it or not, despite what my output is has been looking like as of however long, I've been far more interested in words than I have been in sounds lately. I've
Okay.
been writing way more poetry. I've been writing way more songs. Just kind of really just a
Interesting.
lot of interest in the way that words interact instead of just sounds. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Of course. Okay.
I would love
Excellent.
to have a little bit of a demonstration of that before I jump into fully recorded, like fully studio recorded
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I have 3 songs that have been recorded that are a little bit more meticulous. I went over to Richmond a couple years ago and recorded just like a 50s style doo-wop song, but in like sort of like a 90s garage
Ah, cool.
sort
Cool.
of
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
audio feeling.
Uh-huh.
And then with a very, very 80s inspired guitar solo. And then like, it's just the most 2020s things in that it pulls from everything, but
Yes.
it doesn't feel like it's pandering to nostalgia to me when I listen back to it. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm excited for everybody to hear that song.
Cool.
And then I have a song that I'll probably go back and re-record, but I got to go record it in a professional studio,
Is
and
I
that
think I saw a clip of
was
that one.
yeah, that one's sort of in the
Mm.
sort of black MIDI kind of
Mm-hmm.
post Brexit kind of style of British rock that people have been really digging over the past decade. That one was a lot of fun to record, and everybody that I've showed that one has really really liked it, and so that one will probably be out sort of towards the beginning of the summer.
Okay.
And hopefully, when I have those kind of put together, I'll be able to get the rest of my life in order such that I'll be able to put aside money to like record all of the songs that I've written for that project
Mm-hmm.
and make that thing put together as a full project because oh baby, if I can get every song to feel as complete as that one does
Mm-hmm.
over the course of recording process, man,
Yeah.
that record's going to be very very good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, awesome. I mean, that's a lot of stuff that I'm really excited to hear your take on, especially, lyrics. I'm sure, uh, just based off everything else I know about you, the lyrics that you write would be unconventional. uh,
I have a lot of fun with it for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
It's if you know, you've seen me talking about Cameron Winter like
Right,
crazy
right.
over
Yes.
the
And
past.
I love, especially on Getting Killed, I think he really nailed that sort of free flow style, but also everything has a hidden weight behind it. That is almost exactly what I was envisioning when I thought of like your lyrics. It's your style, but
Yeah, it is. It is. I am at the point where I am trying to escape from the shadow of Cameron Winter in the way that I write, but it is so heavily drilled into my head
mhm,
that that's what I want my lyrics to sound
right.
like.
So
That
it's like a
I just
Hemingway a
kind of
lot.
keep writing Cameron Winter songs.
Hmm. Like
And
the
so we'll see what happens, and
yeah,
I'm excited for you to get to hear it. But
absolutely. Well, whenever that does get released, you are more than welcome back on WAMC or I forget what I call it now. My channel,
Alex's music stream.
Alex's music stream. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I think we can call it there, dude. Great stuff. This is front to back, beautiful album, beautiful album art, beautiful production, beautiful font to name it after. I am a diehard Trebuchet fan now.
It's a great font.
It's so good.
It truly is.
I was going to pitch
Uh,
the one that I had in my Twitch chat. It's audio wide, I think.
oh gosh, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like got a
if I
cool
was
like futuristic look to it. If you ever do like an
if I was
E
gonna keep
album,
doing fonts, I would definitely do one just for you. But
yeah,
I think I think that overall, the whole of like the font era has served its purpose for me.
for sure, for sure. Uh, all right, awesome. Well, dude, thank you so much for coming by again. I was really glad
Yeah,
to.
thanks for having me.
Perfect excuse for me to boot up the old interview format. So glad to had to do it with a
Yeah,
friend. So yeah, until
yeah,
next time, buddy.
yep. And I look forward to the ones that I have heard that you have cooking that you've told me about off stream. I'm
Yes.
quite looking forward to those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Everybody watching, if you're new here, follow or what subscribe to the YouTube, anything like that. Come join the Discord. We're always hanging out and talking. Honestly, the Discord's the one that I surely push the hardest because I like that one the most. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah, definitely leave a follow if you feel like you like this little interviewing format, talking to smaller artists. I really really love doing it, and I hope to do it some more.